Gotcha. Yeah, usually start off with just a couple questions just to get a sense of everyone's background. And so we can start with that. Jared, let's start with you. Sort of, just because it's being recorded, name, title, company, what kind of projects you bid, team size, that kind of thing. Quick bio.
All right. Jared Dolak with Dolak Electric. New company started January 1st. We do residential at the moment. Just myself and some help I grab here and there. Definitely going to start diving into commercial in the upcoming months.
Awesome. All right, Tim.
Hey, I'm Tim with All Service Mechanical and Electrical. We do a lot of service maintenance and repair work, but I'm looking to expand into doing more construction, mainly commercial.
Great. Brandon, how about you? Brandon, you are muted.
Oh, he doesn't have a microphone or a video. I will give him a brief
Video. Okay.
I'll give you a brief bio if you don't mind, Brandon. Yes, Brandon is with Esposito Electric. They are one of our larger contractor members. And as I recall, Brandon, are you not the lead estimator? Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Somewhat lead estimator. Okay.
All right.
Larger scale,
Yeah.
larger scale projects. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Stephen, what about you?
I'm with Spinella Electric. We do mainly commercial and industrial work, a lot of tenant fit out, hospitality, some retail work. I run the estimating and engineering departments.
Great. And then Matthew, how about you?
Hey, how's it going? I came in a little late. I didn't hear what the question was.
Oh, just name, title, company, and the type of projects you guys typically bid.
Gotcha. Name's Matt. The company's currently Watts Good Electrical Services. I'm the sole proprietor, owner-operator. I'm doing this moonlighting kind of second job, doing side projects. I have an addition coming up. I got prints, and this would be perfect for that. That's why I'm here for at least the demo.
Great. All right. Normally we ask a bunch of other questions, but I'm really just going to ask one follow-up question, and we'll get right into the presentation part. So if I could just get a sense of, biggest headache right now and how you guys are estimating currently. Starting with you, Jared, just like a sentence or two on, how you estimate and biggest headache.
Biggest headache would be time, having the time to sit there and do it. How I do it is I break down piece by piece, device by device, and put it all in based on how each one's going to take, how long it's going to take, and everything like that.
Gotcha. What software? Do you use any software? Are you doing this by hand?
My brain.
Brain. All right. Using brain. Gotcha. Brandon, if you just want to throw something in the chat on what you're using. Great. Bluegrass, have experimented with AccuBid. Great. Service Titan. Okay, great. Stephen, how about yourself?
I guess my biggest complaint is the quality of drawings that we have to bid.
All right.
Seems like we do less and less, quality work, and we're always trying to fill in the gaps. As far as how we estimate, we do digital on-screen takeoff, and then that all gets broken down and put into some proprietary stuff that I've written.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Tim.
Like I said, we do a lot of repair and service, so a lot of our work is just T&M. But when I do have to estimate, it's usually a day or two project, and just like Jared, it's all in my head. I don't use any software or anything.
Right. Okay. And then Matthew, finally.
I use an app called Contractor Tools. It's got cost books in it, so I just punch in my hourly, and then it kind of ends up giving me like a flat rate that I use.
Okay, great. And any current headaches?
Like Jared said, time. Sole proprietor is a little bit trickier when you never wanted to do office work.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Makes sense. All right, cool. Yeah, let's get started. So our system is designed, little background on us, fairly new company. We basically are utilizing AI to help electrical subcontractors win more commercial work. And when we looked at what the levers for doing, for winning commercial work were, we basically identified 3 areas where we could immediately provide value. So the first one is lowest cost, in terms of what the most competitive commercial bid is. And so we built something that can lower your material costs significantly by basically shopping through your material quotes and selecting the lowest, possible product mix out of your preferred list of vendors. So that should help you shave significant amounts of money out of the material cost, which is about roughly 50% of the, of your bid total, total volume. Number 2 is most complete. So being able to make sure that you're not missing any specs, especially as some of you guys mentioned, you're expanding from residential into commercial. You definitely don't want to miss anything, and the specs are a huge pain to read, and you guys are already strained for time. So how do you make sure that you're, submitting jobs and not missing something that could wipe out half your profit margin? And then finally, maximum choice. So being able to come to the GCs with, a few alternate bids, maybe an MC feeder in aluminum or a feeder in aluminum or an MC cable alternate bid, while your competitors are still trying to put together base bids. Sunflower Bank did research on this, and they show that it can increase win rates on cold bid scenarios by about 5 to 10 percentage points. So there's a lot of opportunity here to use AI to help win more bids, to provide bids that are more complete, not missing any specs, and to lower the costs. Where we see time savings specifically are on a lot of the takeoff to estimate creation and the shopping or the quoting. So all the quoting is done instantly in our system, and you'll see how this works here in a second. So like I mentioned before, we're optimizing for the lowest cost materials. Because we're using AI on the searches and the shopping, we can search on spec. And so that allows us to consider product alternates that might not normally come up, especially when you're relying on a rep to price things out for you. We can flag missing specs and line items, like I mentioned. You can create VE alternates in less than 5 minutes. And there's no training time. You can pick this up, 5-minute onboarding. I know some other tools are very helpful, but they take a long time to learn, like AccuBid, that kind of thing. So, just to give you guys a sense of the software and how it works before we dive right into it, you've got your smart substitutions. We're pulling pricing directly from your pre-approved vendors. We're doing the context search, right? Searching on spec. And we are, this allows us to do VE alternates because we have these little AI shoppers on every line item. And so to start, I'm going to show you where we fit in your estimating process. So at this point, at the point that our software comes in, there's already a bill of materials. There's been a takeoff. You've done the devices and the wire. You probably get something that looks similar to this. And the next step is going to be, if you come into, Makeoff, you're going to come in here, upload that CSV or PDF or whatever the export is, and you'll hit start, and our system is going to pull out all the line items. Now, while this is loading, you can also load in the blueprints. And so, like, this is one that I've used on another project. This is a massive spec sheet, right? And I can imagine you guys are doing estimates later in the day because you're probably in the field in the morning, especially for the guys who are still doing that. And the sole, some of you guys are sole proprietors. You now want to be looking, I don't think you want to be looking at something like this at like 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. or whatever. Buried in this spec sheet, for example, is, let's see, temporary power. Hold on. Is this, yeah, should be temp power right around 5. Yeah, here it is. See, I couldn't even find it. That's a, $6,000 cost, easily missed. It's buried, unless you had this by default in your estimating system, easily missed. And, with the average cost of a commercial project being about $150K, missing temporary power could wipe your profit margins, basically cut out about half your profit. So here you can see, coming back to the system, our system's pulled out all the line items. and is currently shopping these across your pre-approved vendor lists. And so when it finishes, I preloaded this, you'll get something like this. And if you're already using a software, this might not seem that impressive, but some of the nice things about this are our system's reasoning through your materials, and it's selecting from your catalogs here. And one of the things that, for example, proves that it's reasoning is the fact that it's using stranded black copper here, because it understands that a common spec is to strand wire above 10 AWG. So it's automatically making those substitutions for you. And then it's applying labor units from, our units are based on NECA basically, and applying a labor unit hour modifier to calculate labor, and then calculating, this is the total cost per foot. And so you can see that that's actually been multiplied up here. Coming down, as you get into some of the more advanced line items, for example, you might have a panel. Our system's matching to multiple products. So it's not just, it's not just matching to, you might have something in here where it has multiple products in the single line item. Our system's breaking down what this should cost to put together, and then assigning the unit costs and the labor costs here. And so what that allows you to do is basically price everything out. Switchgear has a long lead time, for example, right? But so it might take a while to go back and forth with the switchgear, operators. But you could, if you have access to, and you will, panel board materials, you can basically get a good quote on a panel board immediately. Scrolling down here to the bottom, we've got your basic invoice related line items. This is your total material and labor. Accessories are just anything that's single, that are not related to an item, that are small, that we might find in there. So your smaller items. Site work like trenching is going to go into installation. You got your G&A, sales tax. These are all modifiable. Contingency for change orders, and then you can export this to an invoice. This is all table stakes type stuff. What's nice about it is you can see this export's got all your labor hours, your prices, everything like that. If I come in up here to show you guys how this thing reasons, I'm going to add something such as wire for 20 amp circuit, and we're going to go with 100 feet. Once I hit process, this is something you could never look up, right? There's no product that directly matches this. I'm going to let our system work here for a sec, and it's going to figure out and reason through what wire is best suited for this. So while it's doing that, I'm going to actually flip over to one where I've got the notes, the blueprint notes loaded in. So over here, let's see. Remember this, buried spec here in 0.5, temporary light and power. Our system is pulling that out here. So if you look at the blueprint notes basically take the notes of the entire project and pull it into our software. You can see it here. Here's that temporary power note. And then most importantly, that doesn't really save you a lot of time by itself. So what we did is we built a reviewer that basically goes through and says, hey, you're missing temporary and power and light in this bid. Here's the supporting note out of the general notes. Here are your, here's what we suggest you do. At some point, we're going to have these buttons work where you can just click this and it'll add the line item for that missing item. You can see it's got some other things in here. It's caught a fire panel. This is ranked by financial impact to your bid too. So you don't have to look through every single spec. Our system will sort of prioritize it for you, and you can see these severity labels that indicate like the financial impact of what you're looking at, right? Putty pads that might not be as expensive as temporary power. Coming back here, this is the one we just uploaded. 20 amp circuit. So this looks like it's finished. 12 AWG. Yeah, so it automatically just matched it to 12 AWG solid black wire because it understands your materials. Now, one of the values of this, of having a system that can reason through every line item like this, is if I hit generate aluminum alternate feeder, it will automatically duplicate this bid and build you a VE alternate right off of this. So you can see here, Compared to this base bid, what it's going to do is replace this 600 case a mil with a appropriately sized aluminum alternate. So if I scroll down here, it's selected 750 case a mil aluminum feeder conductor, and then it's upsized the PVC conduit. We'll let this thing work here on the left-hand side, but in terms of what our software can do, just to wrap this up, is you've got your material quoting automatically off of whatever PDF bill of materials you have. These are all real price quotes from vendors. So this is all your quoting's completed. Number 2 is the spec reader, so we'll make sure you're not missing anything on any of your plans. And then number 3 is the ability to quickly create VE alternates. Means that you've already done all this work. You might as well just submit 1 to 2 extra bids with little to no extra time and increase your rate of winning that winning those jobs, because no one else will have the time to be able to compete with you. And they certainly won't have the time to put together 2 to 3 alternates without a tool like this. So you can see here on the left-hand side, our system is using software on your behalf to build you the VE alternate, and then it'll tell you what it did. Remove copper, 900 case a mil aluminum, and upsize 5-inch conduit. So in this case, it shows another wire gauge for the aluminum, but it's still new to upsize it. Like I said, it does reason through it, so it's not going to be exactly the same every single time. But it is helpful to have this kind of built-in reasoning agent that's able to think through your materials. And so in the future, we'll have more supported VE options with one click. But right now, it's just the aluminum feeders. So any questions so far?
Does it have to be an uploaded print, or can a copy from your phone be uploaded?
It depends on the file that you're thinking of. If you could upload something through your phone. It would just have to be a PDF, or it just can't be a photo right now. We don't support photos, but as long as it's a PDF or an Excel, CSV, something like that, we can handle it. All right, a couple other quick things. Some things that come up. We have our system automatically create packages and assign packages for your products, group everything together. So if you want to, search and check different packages, how they all sort out. If you wanted to change the labor rates, you can change the labor rates of the entire project by clicking this. You've got your labor base rate. Here in this product material database section, you can select your vendors, and this is where you'll manage what vendors you want to pull pricing from. If I hit change, save changes, it will update my bid costs, as you can see. And so that's an easy one. You can also edit this by line. Coming in here, and if I go into labor unit difficulty, I can change it here. And obviously you can also select your product from this this library here. So any questions, any thoughts on what you guys would like to see this do?
Can you show me where you're getting your material pricing from?
Yeah, we're getting our material pricing from a drop shipping vendor called B&T Wire. And so there's a price file. So I can pull up the price file real quick to show you. Okay. Here we go. So let's pick something that's easy to find, like 3/4 inch conduit. There we go. All right, 3/4 inch EMT. We have this listed at 89 cents. All right, there's red fire alarm, and okay, so this is this price file is a little bit out to date. It's a little bit harder to break this one down. But basically, let me choose a different one, because the conduit, as you know, is sold in 10-foot sticks. So this is technically like 74 cents. And then this pricing, as you can see from up here, is from November 2024. So we modified it in our system per their request, and it's now basically 20% higher across the board on their products. So, but if you do go in here, you'll be able to see like this is roughly their pricing. You can get into, let me get into something that's a little bit easier to check. Let's see, Maxlight LS3, It's 8-foot linear, 4-foot linear strip. So this should be 57 times 2, $69. This is, yeah, $69. So it's pulling, this is all live pricing. And, you know, if you matched anything like this and your vendors can't, for whatever reason, once we can get your vendor pricing, we support pretty much any vendor's pricing in here. The main thing is that if for whatever reason something got quoted by our system by default, it still can be honored through our partnership with this distributor.
What if I want to reflect? Can I use 4 different vendors for pricing it simultaneously?
Yes, yeah, you can. And actually, that's one of the best ways to use our system, because we'll cross-reference the searches across their catalogs.
But what do I need to do with my vendor to get them integrated into this? What do they have to supply?
We just need a price file CSV, something that they should be pretty familiar with sending to you already, especially if you're using an estimation software.
Okay.
Yeah, see, then we swap this out as needed. One thing I wanted to test out while I have you guys here, does anyone have a good example of a product that is NEC code related? Like maybe this is you know, cable for a hospital, for example, or something like that. I'd like to try to search this based on code, see how it does. All good if not, but.
Can you do something like a disconnect for an EV charger?
Yes, we can look this up. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what he comes back with, because
It's a 48 amp EV charger.
okay, yeah, actually, yeah, this should match. Yeah, this is interesting. We'll see how this does. And we are working on exposing like the reasoning. You can kind of see it here. And we're gonna probably fix this up and polish this up a little bit, but you can see that like this is the thinking of the model here. Fusible safety switch is treated as like this isn't pulling from anything on the model's generating this, and when it searches for the labor description. Yeah, this is really cool. All right. Cool. I guess we can sort of, Jared, let's get started with you. Who do you think this is best suited for?
Who I think this is best suited for?
Yeah.
Definitely somebody with a large set of plans that yeah, that's pretty much like the plans you showed us before. Is that the question you're asking?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
You definitely you need large jobs for something like this. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting match. Oh, it's not. There we go. Yeah, and then pros and cons. So strengths, weaknesses. What'd you like about it? What'd you not like about it?
It seems a little confusing, but I probably have to play with it for a little bit to understand it. But I do like that. I think it will definitely cut down on some time.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Cuts down on time. Awesome. Tim, we'll go with you next. Pros and cons. What'd you like about it? What'd you not like about it?
I like how you can search and it'll automatically compare prices, which will save me from having to go out of my way and make phone calls or emails to get pricing for something. Again, I don't use a lot of estimating software, so this is something that I'm really just looking into and learning. But it seems very convenient for someone that would be estimating a lot of jobs and in a very competitive market, which a lot of it is.
Great. Awesome. Steven, we'll go with you next. So pros and cons, what'd you like about it? What'd you not like about it?
Right now it looks like it's browser driven, correct?
Yeah, mostly. It's designed browser first.
That's something I don't like. What I do like is the ability to search specs. I'd like to see more of it work and then kind of see how it works like database wise. So if I change labor, say on a panel board that I want to figure a certain amount of labor, does that carry through to every future estimate or is it isolated to that estimate? Those are some, and I'd also like to see the takeoff
Gotcha. Okay.
process.
Makes sense. Let's all right, let's back into this a little bit. If I go into a 200 amp, we'll go into this panel. Right now, it's specific to your project. We're going to build this out so you can basically modify on the settings how you want this to, how you'd like this to work. But are you so what you're asking is like, let's say you have this panel board, 200 amp, and you want to up these labor hours, right? How does this work?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know I can change it there and it's going to affect it, but let's say my next project, is that 12 hours going to be there, or am I now have to modify again? I used to do a lot of work in Accubate, and you're constantly having to go outside of the estimate into the database to modify the database to go back into your estimate and keep going. And it was very difficult and cumbersome. So kind of the reason why we got away from certain estimating softwares is because they can be very powerful and useful if you use those features. If you don't, it's really kind of in the way.
Gotcha. Okay. So you want this to update on your like assembly level, right? Where it's, I have this panel. Every time I see a 200 amp panel board from now on, I want the labor units to be what I say they are.
Correct.
Okay.
And
yeah, we can do that.
Because at that point, I'd be able to tailor the database or the labor rates to the way that we bid work and the way that we actually operate versus having to constantly modify every estimate and tailor it to the way we work. I'd rather tailor the program to the way we work rather than have me tailor every estimate to the way we work.
Yeah. So we can, we'll be able to support that within probably the next month or so. Because we already support custom labor units. Brandon, how does it work putting in assemblies, takeoff, etc.? Maybe I missed it. So on the, let's see. We're going to have an assembly manager. Right now, our system builds the assemblies based on the matched products. In terms of the takeoff, like you're going to get something that looks, we need something that looks like this. I mean, the other thing you can do is, when we just started designing this, we bought a service called Ground Plan, which is just an e-takeoff software. So I'm just going to show you guys if I come in here and export a project that's should be able to show me my own stuff. This might be a different account. If I export like a plan, like let's say that I'm doing is there anything in here? No, these are not edited. One sec. So I know you're saying you use Bluegrass. If you're going to come in here, whatever takeoff solution you guys are using would be fine. Come in here. going to pull this takeoff out. This is just a list of the devices, right? But you guys might be using some takeoff software or whatever to mark up your plans. Almost every software is going to support some type of export. So if I generate this export, it's going to give me something that looks like this. Right, with my list of materials. And so if I come in here, I'm going to upload that list we just looked at, and it'll pull everything out and match it directly. So that the handoff time between no, the AI does not put the marks on the plan yet. That's coming down the pike. Right now we're focused on pulling in all of the different notes and making sure that nothing gets missed on the specs. So there's a whole bunch of downstream effects of this. So you're going to have things like being able to take a light, pole lighting detail and have our system build the entire assembly around that detail diagram, and then put that into your product, specs, which would that would be too much time for anyone to do for the most part. And look for blueprint notes across plan sets. So let's say like you've got an electrical note in the plumbing section, our system will be able to search and find that. It does not count the plan right now. What it does is it takes the takeoff. So at this point, we assume you've got something like this, which just indicates like what the items, the objects are, your wiring. I could include wiring in this too, but you just got to be able to upload this into our system, and then this serves as like an optimization point before it goes out for bid. So it saves a ton of time on quoting, because you don't have to get, and maybe if you're using Accubid, you might have some of your quotes built into Accubid through their supplier exchange. But our system, these are all live quotes. All these prices are valid for 30 days once they're from the estimate time frame. So it should save you something on that.
Can you show us the duplex receptacle real quick? There's 5 of them there.
Yeah. Are you saying in this plan set or in the estimate?
In the estimating software.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see here.
It was towards the top.
Here's one. This is a weatherproof duplex receptacle outlet.
Where's the cable or conduit or anything that straps and supports that feed that?
So it has to do with the fact how this was uploaded, right? Which is it's not a circuit related. It wasn't entered in here as a circuit line item, which would have like the straps and everything like that. If you wanted, you get your duplex receptacle here, it's building the assembly here with the cover and the receptacle type. And then if I come up to the conduit, it will have all what you're requesting, right? The straps, maybe not on this one. That's a bug. Yeah, so if not, you can always add a component here. Wrench, conduit, couplings, and this should search. That's not good. All right. Yeah. For some reason, it's not working on this demo. But like it does. Basically, what you should expect to receive is something that looks like this, except for your EMT conduit. So it basically builds the assembly around the conduit, where you got your couplings, your set screws, all those things being broken out line by line here. All right. Let's see.
Can you start an estimate with 0 takeoff? Meaning, do I have to import my takeoff to produce this, or can we just start with a brand new project and I manually input, I don't know, one assembly?
Yeah, we can start a new project, and as without uploading anything, and basically just keep adding line items, right? And because of the search query components of it, you could easily just add in what exactly you're looking for, right? Which is 30 amp circuit wire or something like that, right? Enter in your quantities up here and process it. Yeah, in terms of the plan reader, we're going to be connecting these notes to the chat itself as well. So you'll be able to ask questions around specs that the engineers have given you. And then you should be able to make edits to your bid through this chat as well. So if I come in here, flex receptacles for a healthcare. Should be able to call tools within our system and then make this change for you. Yeah, see. Update the takeoff, added 5 more duplex receptacles. Now 10 total, tag them for the healthcare building. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Who's next? Stephen, who do you think this is best suited for?
I'm still thinking about that.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I do a lot of plan and spec bidding and have for 20 years. So,
Mhm.
we all have our own systems and how we capture and parse data. I guess this would be good for somebody who's looking for a quick solution. But I'm still working through that. I have some more specific questions.
Oh yeah, let's dive into those.
Well, no, I think that's something that we'll do offline.
Okay.
I don't want to waste anybody's time with that.
Sounds good. Matthew, what about yourself? Things you like, things you don't like?
Well, the things I don't like is that my Wi-Fi was shoddy for the first half, so it was kind of choppy what you were doing. I'd probably have to mess around with it for like a week or so and really test it. How intuitive can it be?
Mhm.
If I just put in, I'm doing a 200 amp service, is it going to know everything I need? In terms of, if I say service entrance cable or conduit, is it gonna?
It's a great question. We haven't tested that out yet, but that's a good thing to check. I would think right now that it probably be limited to, like, it can go panel to the panel components, but I probably can't go all the way top line, because if there's too many, it can't take on too many like sub items, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So that might be the upper limit in terms of what we're able to add. And so I'll test it and I'll send you the results, but I would assume, just to set expectations, I don't think we can handle just saying like 200 amp service.
Right.
But okay. Yeah, and then who do you think this is best suited for in terms of like the product itself, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, who is it good for? People who don't have enough hours in a day.
Gotcha. All right, great. Okay. Let's see. Awesome. All right. Well, I don't know how much else we need to cover. Jared, I saw you sent me some plans. Let me see how our system handles these. be interesting to see because these look like they are a photo that's been saved as a PDF, so it'd be good, a good test. Any other questions before we wrap up here?
Yeah, the $1 million question. How much?
It is $99 a month per seat, fully money back guaranteed. So if you wanted to cancel for whatever reason, we'll just refund your money. And no annual contracts, so easy to pick up. Yeah, Brandon, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you these questions. If you're cool, just throwing those in the chat. Just what you like, what you didn't like, and then great, perfect, thank you. And then who you think this is best suited for would be awesome. Yeah, and then on your assembly question, we are putting in the functionality to be able to manage your assemblies. Right now, the system builds them automatically, but you'll have and Stephen, kind of to your point too, right? Which is like, I want to be able to manage my things. We got to put somewhere for you to be able to do that. Time to set up. Good for big jobs. All right, perfect. Great. All right, we can kind of wrap this up. Say you're building a house, needs service, mechanicals, lighting, power, assemblies. Gotcha. I'm not sure I follow this one. So are you saying that you would set these up as like subsections within our software? Like you'd want something that's, for service or something like that? Right, where you can kind of set up your own service. I know for larger projects, I've spoken with some larger estimators. They also like having more robust labor calculations. So like for us, for example, we just put in a base rate. Time to play with it. All right, awesome. Yeah, we can get you guys all, whoever wants to take this thing for a spin, we can get you guys a login. And then
that's a good question. What if you have multiple labor rates? Or different guys on the job?
Yeah, right now we only support like a blended labor rate. So we basically would have to do the calculation outside the software and apply it as a as a base rate here.
Say if it's a job that you need 3 guys with and they're all spread out different labor rates, obviously mine's going to be higher than somebody who's working for me at year 1 apprentice.
Yeah.
You all calculate it together and put it underneath one?
Yeah, you basically would have to blend the rates together. Like if they're all working, if you got a crew of 3 all assigned to single project, basically taking their hourly rates, prorating it for a third of the total, and then taking an average cost. But yeah, we're building out.
And then that'll fill every single thing with that same labor rate.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to modify individual line items, we're working on being able to do packages as well, but we don't support packages yet. You'd basically have to come in here and go into your labor difficulty here and update it.
Okay. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. I will follow up with an email with some login credentials. You guys can take a look at it. I'm going to include the plans that I upload, so when you guys log in, you'll have a project preloaded, and then you can kind of play around with how the system works, and hopefully that gives you guys a better sense of the software and that kind of thing. All right, does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Will.
Thanks everyone. Christine, if you want
Thank
to
you.
hang on just for a couple minutes, just to debrief. Awesome. You are muted. I think that's a yes. Awesome. Thank you guys.
I just wanted to thank you all for taking time today to join us. I really appreciate it. We'll catch up with you soon.
See you later.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.